So welcome to Canva 201, presented to you by the Buckles Adult Services Committee. For those of you who are just attending us previously on Canva 101, Flash Gordon was tied to a train track. Ming the Merciless was busy preparing the laser to blow up the Earth. Actually, no. On the previous seminar, we covered just the basics, getting started, creating your account, what some of the essential tools were to creating your works of art, and also collaborating and sharing with others on the platform. And at the end, we had a question and answer session for any additional information, any clarification, the like. So as mentioned before, these are our presenters today, myself, Kara, Minnie, and Tatiana. Kara and Minnie will be doing the majority of teaching us today about Canva, with Tatiana coming in at the end doing a question and answer session. Now, yet as mentioned before we began, participants will be muted until the question and answer session. So be sure to type your questions or raise your hand at the end, and recordings and resources will be shared with all participants today. All 74 of you as of right now. So what will be covered today? Well, we got a whole lot because since this is a more in-depth class, we won't be going over the basics, but instead we'll be getting into the nitty-gritty, basically manipulating images, using frames, changing colors, animations, using templates to your own advantage. We'll go a bit into AI, whether you like it or not, creating QR codes, tidying up. So basically, anything that you can think of will probably be covered today. If not, we can absolutely help you. I will provide emails in the back in case you have any further questions. So today's project, Minnie and Kara will be demonstrating what they're going to be covering to you using Canva. So that may mean creating a poster from scratch and examining all the different elements that go into it. And Kara may start that, and then Minnie may pick up from that to cover her topic, whether it is using AI to enhance the image or shifting the colors around to make it more appealing to the eye. And yes, it is not limited to just flyers. We can be doing posters and social media posts as well. Rules are applying to all. But as a reminder, I've mentioned this in the last one, that Canva is your canvas. You can be as creative as you want, and just because they are using it in a specific way does not mean that you are limited to using it in their way. It's all about you. It's all about your creativity. We're just here to teach you what we have learned and what works for us. And again, question and answer will be at the end. So keep some questions in mind. If anything comes up, put it in the chat box. If you want to wait till the end, raise your hand. We will unmute you for you to ask your question if you want to raise your hand. So, Minnie, you're beginning, correct? So thank you everybody for joining today. I will come in at the end for some final words. And for now, we shall begin with Minnie taking center stage. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
I want to thank the Adult Services Committee, Darlene, Kara, thank you so much for this opportunity. And welcome everyone. I am Minnie Pavitran. I am an adult reference librarian and program coordinator at Bergenfield Public Library. Today we will explore advanced Canva features to help you elevate your design skills. So I'm going to share my presentation. Are you able to see this? Yeah. So welcome to Canva 201. I'll be talking about why do we use animation in Canva. Animations make your designs more dynamic, highlight key points, guide your audience, and add a polished and professional touch to your creativity. So let's see how animation can enhance our designs. In Canva, you can add movement to text and images with style like fade, pan, rise, and use page transitions and smooth slide changes, perfect for digital signage and social media. I recorded myself doing this so that we can save some time. So this is a flyer that I created, which doesn't have any animation or any creativity. So this is going to be very bland and this is not very appealing. What I did is I'm actually adding some background to make it more vibrant. But this doesn't look good, so I changed the transparency and made it lighter so that your text would appear more prominent. After that, I'm sorry it's taking so much time, but that's good. All right, and then I selected all the text. And right on top here, you see there is an animate button. So if you select that, you get all this animations on the left-hand side. And I decided to select the pan option. And for all the other, since the speed was too high, I decreased the speed so that it takes its time for the animation to show up. Further down, I selected all the pictures and added more animation to it. In this case, I added pop option. And for the sign up button, I decided to add a little bounce to it. Again, the same thing, you click on the animate and add it. I decrease the intensity, so it takes a time for the animation to show up. And this is how it looks. It doesn't appear here for some reason, but it is definitely there. There you go. So now let's discuss about managing animation timing and sequence for smoother flow. Again, here's another demo of adjusting animation timing to control element appearance. Now I'm going to pause here for a second. I want all these elements to appear one at a time, not together. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select an element, right click on it, and it's going to allow me to make changes to the timing of those elements. From there, right click, show element timing, click on that one. You can see a purple button that appears on top of the actual slide. So I want this one to appear for the whole time period. But I want the second one to appear after the first element, after this. So I'm going to decrease the timing for the second one. I'm going to do the same thing, click on the third one and change the timing. So it's going to appear one at a time. So this is how it is going to come up. This is the finished flyer. This is how its timed animation created a polished and engaged design. So exporting an MP4, make sure that you export your flyer in MP4 or GIF format so that you keep all animations and transitions. It is perfect for your Instagram, Facebook, and digital signs to grab attention. So next is let's see how we can use the Canva tools, which offers smart mockups and collaboration features. What are smart mockups? Smart mockups let you place your design on real objects like mugs, phones, t-shirts. It's a fast way to create professional mockup without a photo shoot. Perfect for marketing or library promotions. This is how I created. This is an easy way to create a smart mockup in Canva. All right. So that's the mockup. I want to add our logo to different designs. So I go on the left-hand side. Make sure you use Canva Pro for this because Canva Pro allows you to have a mockup option. Select on that and you get to select an object. So this is a this is how it's appearing on a bag. And this is another flyer that I want to see how it appears on my phone. Again, Canva makes collaboration easy by letting you share designs and set permissions like edit, comment, or view. It's great for library projects like event planning or team promotions. Next, let's discuss on designing for accessibility so everyone can use our content. This is very important. The flyers that I have created, the presentation that I created today is I have kept all those in mind. The color that I used and the font that I used is all for accessibility purpose. Make sure that you do not add too many script fonts or all caps. Make sure you use high contrast and clear fonts to better reading and add all text for images. This whole presentation has been made. I have kept that in mind. Why use accessibility? It makes sure everyone, including those who has disabilities, can engage with our content. Use good contrast, clear font, descriptive titles, and logical order to make designs inclusive. Next, we will learn about building a consistent brand, something called brand kit. This is again Canva Pro. Make sure you use Canva Pro. This is available in Canva Pro, okay? What is a brand kit? It is something that you store your logos, your color that you're going to use throughout your presentation in one place. So when you have a group presentation, each person can share that brand kit and use it to make consistent design. This is how it looks like. You have everything in one place, so everybody is sharing that particular design, the same color, everybody's using the same color, logo, or the title, everything. So this is how you create a brand kit. Same thing. On the left-hand side, there was something called build a brand kit. Go to brand kit here. On the left-hand side, make sure you add a new brand kit, you add what you're creating. I'm making a brand kit for summer reading. I'm going to add all the colors that I'm going to use. All the different colors I use. Basically, this is what I use for this presentation. So I'm gonna have all the different colors that I use for this presentation. Lots of blues, yellows, and the font. So I'm just going ahead with all the different colors. You choose what color, more colors. If you want to add more colors, it'll appear there. Title. I'm going for that font. This is exactly the same font that I used for this presentation. Added a subtitle with the same font, but a smaller size. Make sure to add a picture And this is how it looks like. So I used the same brand kit to make sure that I made a flyer and a social media post and a newsletter. So if three people are making these, so if you have a brand kit, each of you can use the same brand kit, so the design stays consistent throughout. So that's all from me, and that brings to the end of my Canva to Women presentation. Thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope you learned some new tricks, new skills to make your beautiful, engaging, and accessible designs. Thank you so, so much. Yay.
That was awesome. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mindy.
you. Thank you.
And thank you, Andrew, for the really awesome introduction. Okay, so I'm Kara, and I work at the Teaneck Library, and I am going to do a few things, well, depending on how much time we have. But what I'm going to start with is I'm going to show you some designs that I've worked on for the Teaneck Library. I removed a couple elements that I had, and I'm going to re-add them for you in this demonstration to kind of show you how much one small thing can make a pretty big difference. So first, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay, so let's see, what do we have here? So the first flyer I'm going to look at is this virtual job workshop that is coming up this summer. So we've had this vendor do a few job workshops. She's very nice. If you're interested, let me know. I'll give you her contact information. Anyway, so I'm going to add on some of the elements that I had before to make this a little bit more attractive. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I want to add a QR code. So maybe you've done this before. Maybe some of you have used other applications outside of Canva to make a QR code, but you can do it directly within Canva. So I want people to be able to visit teanecklibrary.org/events without having to do the exhausting task of typing that in. So I'm going to go down here in this left-hand menu. I'm going to go to where it says apps. So these apps offer additional design tools, and one of the tools is the QR code. So I'm going to type in QR code, and this first app is sufficient. They have some other ones, but this one will just give you a plain old QR code. So I'm going to type in or copy and paste the URL that I want the QR code to lead to. I'm going to generate the QR code, and then bam, you have a flyer that displays a QR code. No typing needed. So I'm going to stick it right down here because it says or scan the QR code. So I kind of want it to be obvious. Okay, so just big enough that somebody can use their phone. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, so there you go. That's how you create a QR code in Canva. Okay, and if I wasn't doing this demonstration, I would be playing around with this like endlessly. So I'm going to try not to do that, even though that is my instinct. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a photo of the lovely Joyce Mandel who does these workshops. So first, though, I want her photo to be contained within a frame. So maybe you used frames before, but these are great tools if you want to have an image that you've uploaded or an image in Canva's library that you want to take the shape of a frame. So I'm going to go to elements, and I can just type something in up here, or I see this button here, it's already showing me that I can get to the frames library. I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna go to see all frames. So all of these frames, you just stick the picture in there and it'll take the shape of the frame. So this right here, it's a little bit tiny, but this is a little bio for Joyce Mandel. So I'm going to put her picture right next to the bio. So I'm gonna go with the circle and I am going to make it a little smaller and put it right here. And I like that little overlap with the image on the right. So I'm gonna leave that. And then I'm gonna go to my uploads because that's where I have my picture of Joyce. I hope she doesn't mind that I'm sure she doesn't mind that I'm advertising her program, right? Anyway, so I'm gonna search for the file. I named it her name so that I could find it. I'm going to click on it, click, drag, and drop it into the frame. And now I want her face to be bigger. So I'm going to double click it to sort of activate it and use these handles to make it bigger. And I want her face to be visible. So there we go. Once I'm done, I could just click away and now I have her picture in the frame. And I kind of want to give this a little border. So up here in the menu, I'm going to click border style, solid border. I could make it thicker or thinner. I'll leave it as is. And then this black is a little bit harsh, so I'm going to use a different color here. So I'm going to go to border color, and I'm going to use another color within this design. So it's already giving me document colors here. So I like this navy blue, so I'm going to click that. And now I have a picture of Joyce on this. This QR code is, I feel like it's kind of clashing a little bit, so I'm going to move that. Anyway. Okay, so that's how you add a frame, a border on the frame, and then a QR code. So Minnie spoke about the brand kits. So I'm going to go to my brand kit here. I want to put the TNEC library logo. And we've uploaded several logos. So I'm going to use the white one because it'll show up better on this dark blue here. So I'm going to click and I'm going to bring it up here. I'm going to make it small. And then bam, it looks suddenly way more professional. Okay, so that is how you would add your logo after you've created your brand kit. And one last thing, this text is super wonky looking. So I want it to be all aligned and tidy. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to click on all of the, or actually, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna click and then drag with this purple box that appears until I have all the elements I want selected. And I'm going to go to, you could do it like this. You could do it in this 3-dot menu or up here. And I'm just going to go to position and tidy up. Oh no, I don't like that. That didn't come out right. So I'm going to instead undo it. Okay. And I'm going to try again. Okay, I'm going to do, let's see. No. It usually works better than this. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the guidelines that Canva has. So as you can see, when I move it around, there's like a little line on the end that shows you that these are aligned. I don't know why it doesn't want to do it this time around. There's probably something I'm doing wrong that I don't realize. But the tidy up tool is really good, I promise. It works really well. I'll probably be able to show you on another design. But this is the finished product. I think it looks a lot better just from those small changes that I made. Okay, so I'm going to move on. So I'm going to go back to my folder here. And the next thing I'm going to update really quickly is our adult services newsletter. Okay, so the first thing I want to point out is this picture here that I just pulled from Canva's library. I'm going to go back into my newsletter, and I'm not sure if I had lost connection at this point yet. But I had just added one of the shapes from the elements library to the background of the header here. Okay. So I added this orange shape. So obviously this orange is not very complimentary. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it and I'm going to change the color. And for this one, I really liked this kind of, I think it was a sort of navy blue. Okay. Yeah, so it's this navy blue. And I think, so this is a little bit harsh to me, so I like to use the transparency tool. So I'm gonna make that a little transparent, but not so transparent that you can't read the text, because like Minnie said, you know, you want the contrast to be there so people can read it. So that is a quick little tip. So using transparency and shapes for things like headers. And now I'm going to scroll down. So if you've read the Adult Services newsletter, you know that we had multiple pages this time around. And I just used the duplicate page to get the same look across the newsletter. But also Tatiana had suggested that because there's a lot of content that we have hyperlinks within the newsletter. So so these are all links, and they actually link to within pages in the newsletter. So if you download it as a PDF, those links will jump to the page, you know, that you want to go to. So this is useful if you have like a library newsletter that you want to post on your website as a PDF. So to do that, I'm just going to highlight the text that I want to make a link. I'm going to click on the little chain, and then I'm going to put the page number that I want this to go to. So I'm going to start typing 2, and it should come up. Is it music in the library? Okay, so pages in this document, music in the library. I'll hit done, and I actually don't like the underlining, so I'm just going to take that out. And so now this will link to the second page, and it jumps right to it. So not only can you add links to outside or outside websites, you can also link to within your document. Okay, so the background remover tool. So this is a Canva Pro feature, and I really like it because it you know, it eliminates the background. So if you have like a character or just an item that you want to feature and you want it to like, you know, kind of blend better into the design, this is a really good tool. So this is a graphic that I created when we had just subscribed to the Museum of the Dog in Manhattan. And I remember I'm a little bit of a crazy dog lady, so I had put a picture of my dog named Harvey. So some people here might know Harvey. I don't think you know Harvey. So I'm going to go to my uploads. Oh, I'm sorry. First, I'm going to open it in a new tab. And I'm going to go to my uploads eventually. Here we go. Okay. So I uploaded a picture of my dog. I'm just going to type in dog here. This is the picture I'm going to use. I'm going to select it, and that will add it to the design. And I'm going to use the background remover. It's going to remove the background. And if it doesn't remove parts of the background, there's a way to erase it further, but because of time, I'm going to just skip right over that. Okay. I also want to add a little bit of a glow. So I'm going to use the effects and the glow effect. And I'm going to put him over here and rotate him a little bit so that it looks like he's just popping his head in. So cute. Okay. And then I'm going to add, this picture looks a little washed out on the screen. I don't know how it looks on your screens, but anyway, I'm going to add a background to this. So you can use you can use graphics to use as a background. So I'm just going to click paw prints. And let's see. So I'm going to use a graphic. I guess this one's fine. And I'm just going to expand it and make it really big. And it's obviously it's obscuring everything. So I'm going to position it all the way to the back. And it's still obscuring things because it's, it's a little bit dark. So I'm going to use the transparency tool and make it very, very transparent. So you just get a little faint paw print in the background. And there it is. Looks a little bit cuter. And it's an excuse to show off my dog. Okay, so that's the background remover tool. And then photo effects. So the next tool I'm going to show you is the Tidy Up tool. So if you can see down here in the committee reading recommendation section, there are some books and they're not necessarily neatly aligned or evenly spaced out. So if I want them to be aligned perfectly and evenly spaced out, I could use the guidelines that Canva shows you, those pink guidelines. Or if I want to be really precise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag and select all of these book covers. And then I'm going to go to position and I'm going to go down to where it says space evenly and then tidy up. And so magically they've all snapped into place. And I can do the same thing with, I don't know why that's crossed out. Okay, I can do the same thing with the text down here. So I can select it all and just select tidy up. And now they're all evenly spaced out. And I want to make sure that these are right underneath each of these books here. So that looks pretty good. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is grouping items and then duplicating them. So you have a consistent, look and format for a sort of information dense design like this one. So this is our museum pass brochure, and it's a trifold brochure. So you can see these little dotted lines here. That's where you would fold it. I just adapted this from one of Canva's templates. So I'm going to go down to the second page, and on the second page here, you can see it's very information dense. So all of our museum pass offerings are listed out. We include the hours, the contact info, the address, and then a little bit of information about the museum. So despite it being very information dense, I tried my best to still, make it legible, consistent, and not overwhelming. So for each of these, I used 3 text box. So I'm going to ungroup these for now. So this is its own text box. This is its own text box, and this is its own text box. So in order to get it to look the same across the design, what I did was I grouped them together. So you just select each individual element that you want grouped together, and then I select group, and then I would duplicate it. So let's see, I'm going to delete this for the sake of this demonstration. Delete. Okay, so I'll show you again on the Guggenheim here. So I am going to select all of these text box. I'm going to select group, and then I'm going to select duplicate, and then I'm going to move it down here. And then I would just plug in the new information. So I would put in Intrepid, and it mostly preserves the, the formatting and the same font and everything. So I would just continue to plug in the relevant information here. So I put it down here, my little cheat sheet. So it's free admission for 2 adults and 2 children. So I'll just delete this and put free admission for 2 adults and 2 children. So it looks like I have to add in the bold. That's okay. It's preserving the space and everything else. So you know, a little editing here and there, never hurt anyone. And then I'll add in the description. Okay, so I'll go back up here and then bam. Oh, and then the address. So Pier 86. Okay. 7 days a week, 10 to 5. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is how to make sure that these groups of elements are evenly spaced out. So again, you can use those guidelines that Canva provides for you. It's giving you in that little pink bubble the distance, and it's showing you that line on the edge that shows you if they're, you know, lined up properly. But if I want to be really precise, just for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to move these around and make them look a little ugly. There we go. So now I want these all to be lined up properly. I'm going to select each group of elements, and they all should be grouped, so they should move together, rather as individual elements. And I'm going to go to position, and instead of doing tidy up, I'm going to select space evenly horizontally. And then I'm going to select align elements left. So now they're all lined up and they're spaced out evenly. And again, they're each grouped together. So this is kind of acting like this one box is kind of acting as one element, despite it actually being 3 elements or text box. And because they're kind of squished here on the edge, I'm just going to select them all again and just move them a little bit. And I want it to be under the print from home label. Okay, so the next 2 things I'm going to show you how to do are 1, how to edit a photo in Canva, and 2, how to add an effect to a photo. So I showed you a little bit before with my picture of Harvey, but I'm going to show you again on this book cover. So I feel like this book cover, it's a little bit flat looking. So if I want it to pop out a little bit more, I will add a shadow effect. So I'm going to select it and then go to edit. And then I'm going to scroll down to where it says effects. And then I'm going to select shadows. And there's different shadows that you can work with. I like the glow, so I'll select glow. And see, it instantly made it look more, 3-dimensional. And I could even edit the amount of blur, so make it blurrier or less blurry. I can change the size of the blur effect if you really want to get, really into it. But yeah, those are great. I love the shadow effects. Again, I'm not really a big fan of flat images on graphics personally. And then next, I'm going to show you how to edit a photo. So you can edit you can edit the contrast, the saturation, etc., just like you could on your phone, but you could do it directly here on Canva. So I'm going to edit this lovely picture of Patrice McDonough, who is a local author who recently published his book. So I'm going to select the photo and I'm going to go to edit, even though I was just in the edit screen, but I'm going to go to edit again. And I'm going to go to adjust. And I can play with these little sliders to make it a little warmer if I really want to. I can make it brighter. I can increase the contrast and the saturation, etc. So it looked fine before, But you know, you might have a photo that you add to a design that's a little dull, and you can use these tools to make it look brighter and better. And as you probably saw in Canva 101, if you attended that training, you can also add these shadow effects to your text. So I can select the text I want to edit, and I'll go to Effects, and then I can apply a shadow, an outline, make it hollow, etc. And again, you can change the offset, the direction of the shadow. You can change the color of the shadow. It looked fine before, but you know, just want to show you what you can do. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the colors from a background in Canva's library to this design. And I can find those backgrounds in the Elements library. I can also apply the colors of one of my uploads to this design as well. So I'll show you that. I had tried to do this in the live training and wasn't able to do it. So I've come to the conclusion that it may not work for certain elements. But I'm going to show you how to do it today on this New Jersey Makers Day poster. So maybe you're looking for a certain vibe for your design. Maybe you're looking for something bold or summery or retro or professional. So I'm going to go to Elements. And as you can see, I was looking for bold backgrounds. But let's look for, I don't know, a professional background. If only I could spell professional. Okay. And don't worry, I know how to spell professional. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to look at these graphics here. I'm going to select See All, and I'm going to find a background that I like. Okay, for the sake of this demonstration, let's use this background. And then I'm going to click on it to add it to my design. I'll right click, and then I'm going to go down to Apply Colors to Page. And you see it applied the colors of this background to my design. And if I don't like it, I can keep right clicking and then selecting Apply Colors to Page, and it will give me a different variation of these colors. I don't think this looks great, so I will probably go back to the original, or I can show you how to apply the colors of one of my uploads to this page here. So right here, I have this Makers Day logo. So I'm going to right click and select Apply Colors to Page. And that looks a little bit better, but I think it could look even better. So I'm going to right click and select Apply Colors to Page. And I'm going to keep on doing it until I like it. Okay, I really don't like any of these variations, so I'm going to go back to my original. But this is something that you can do. So I just wanted to demonstrate it for you so you know it's, available. Okay, so I skipped over this part during the live training because of, time and everything. But now that I'm recording this and it's not live, I'm going to show you how you can add a video of yourself rather than a video of some random guy from Canva's library to your design. So you could add this to your slideshow. You can even add this to your social media post and post it on Instagram, and then just make sure that you download it as an MP4 video. So let's see. So this guy, he's very nice, but we don't know him. So we want to add an image, or a video of ourselves. So there's a way that you can record directly within Canva and then have it added to this design here. So I'm going to go to Uploads, Record Yourself, and here we are. And then when you're done recording, you could just hit record. Or I'm sorry, when you're ready to record, you hit record. And you record, you know, and then you hit done. And then you've added this little video to this slide. So you can save and exit. And here we are. There we go. You can make it bigger or smaller. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how you can be more consistent with the elements that you use. So I'm going to go to the elements here and say I want a graphic of a book. I'm going to search for book and I'm going to go to see all to expand the graphics section and say I really like this graphic here. So I can view more from this collection if I go to the 3 dots and then I can select view collection and it will show me the other graphics within this collection. So they have a similar color scheme, you know, similar vibe. So that's good if you're wanting to use multiple elements for one design. And another thing that you could do is you can use the filters to narrow down your search when you're searching for elements. So maybe I want a graphic of a dog. So I'm going to select dog and I'm going to hit enter. And then here I can narrow down my results. So I can narrow down which color I want. I can select the orientation. And then here I could even narrow it down by what's free and what requires a Canva Pro account. So I got really excited when I saw this, but I believe that you can only use this free versus pro filter if you have a Canva Pro account, which is kind of useless because we already have access to all of the Canva Pro elements. So I'm not really sure why only Canva Pro accounts can use this. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But yeah, I believe you can only use this filter if you have Canva Pro. But anyway, okay, so now we're back to Joyce Mandel's interview workshop graphic. So this is a flyer. If I want to post this on Instagram, I would want to resize this so that it has the dimensions of an Instagram post. So if you have Canva Pro, you can just go to this resize button and it's already suggesting Instagram post square. I can also, you know, search for other options, or I could do a custom size, but I'm just gonna select Instagram post square, and then I can resize this specific design, or I can make a copy of it. So I'll have both the flyer and the Instagram version. So I'm gonna make a copy, and it's gonna resize it for me. And then I'm going to open it up. Okay, so it transferred all of the elements from the flyer onto this square design for Instagram. So as you can see, I definitely have to fix it up and kind of move things around a bit. And this is a lot of text for an Instagram post, so I'm probably going to remove some of the text. So I would just make these bigger so that they take up the entire width. And I'll do the same here. Oops. So I'm just gonna grab all of this and then make it bigger. And same thing with the text. I'm gonna select it all, make it bigger, And I don't think I need Joyce's bio or photo for social media. So I'm going to take that away. I think sometimes too much information can be overwhelming, especially on social media where people are being inundated with this kind of thing. So I'm just going to adjust it until I like the way it looks. And I definitely want to focus on making sure that all the information is big enough to see on a small screen like a phone. I might move this over. I don't think QR codes are especially helpful on social media, so I'm going to take that out. And I'll scan the QR code out. And I'm going to make this bigger as well. I'll move this so it's not in the way. Okay. So this looks a little bit better. I probably would continue playing around with this a little bit until I liked it. I might even take some more of this text away. But this is just to give you an idea of what you need to do when you resize your graphic for social media. So the next little tip I'm going to show you is how to download your design with a transparent background. So if you want to download an image from Canva and you don't want this solid white background to show up when you add it to another design, then you are going to want to download it and then download it with a transparent background. So you might want to do this if you're creating a logo. So I'm going to very quickly create a logo here in Canva. I'm going to go to Elements. I'm going to go to Logo. And I'm going to look at the graphics and see what they have. So I'm going to use this one for now. And say I want to make a logo for my book club for some reason. I don't know why I would want to do that, but why not? So I'm going to type in, I'm going to add a text box, and then I'm going to type in Teaneck Library Thriller Book Club. Okay, so I'm going to add that in. Okay, so I'm going to download this with a transparent background and then add it to another design so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to go to Share, Download, Transparent Background, and I'm going to download it as a PNG file, and I'll download it to my computer, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to copy it so I can add it to another design. Okay, I'll add a page. I'm going to use a Canva template. We'll look for a book club template flyer. Okay, so let's select this one. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to add my logo. So I'm just going to paste in what I had copied before. And as you can see, when I paste it in there, it has a transparent background. Magic Media. So this is the AI tool that Andrew had mentioned before. So you can just give it a, I think we're all familiar with AI now, but you just give it a prompt and then it'll create something for you. I much prefer to just create my own designs because there's so many options in Canva and you have more, control, but it's kind of a fun thing. So you can ask it to create images, graphics, videos. Let's see. Can I ask it to, can you create a picture of a dog reading a book about Arbor Day? It's very specific. Oh, not Arbor Terrace, Arbor Day. That's one of the senior living homes in Teaneck. Okay. And then it's gonna generate something. And I really don't like this tool, but it's good to know it's there, because when I've tried to use it and it's generated like photographs of people, it does that thing that AI does where it like, distorts their face and stuff and gives them like three hands. But this is this is what it gave me. So this is a graphic. That's not so bad. It looks like the dog is wearing pants, but they don't quite fit him. But this is this is what it came up with. You even have the option to change the colors if you want. Okay, so that's the AI feature. There's also other cool things that you can add to your design. So you can create charts. So I'm just going to look up a chart and I'm going to delete, whoops, I'm going to delete that. Okay. So you can create a chart and then you can edit it and add like the different values and stuff here, and then it will change as you edit it. So that's pretty cool. If you ever need to like make a report for your library board or something, that might be useful. Say I want to remove an object in an image. So you can use the magic grab tool for that. So I'm going to go to edit, and then I'm going to go to Magic Studio, and you can see there's a bunch of different things here, but I'm going to use magic grab. And okay, so I'm going to click on the things I want to get rid of. So maybe I want to get rid of this. And then it's going to get rid of that. And then you could actually, it's not really great getting rid of it. You can like move it around or delete it. Okay, so now I can move this. Woo, I can make it bigger. I mean, I don't know like the practical use for this, unless you want to just remove, an item from a picture, but ta-da, okay.
Okay, so let's say that I'm working on editing our museum pass brochure. I'm adding some more museums. I'm changing the hours, or I'm making a lot of big changes. So, and let's say that I've accidentally deleted an entire row of these, and I've been editing for a couple of hours, and I've accidentally deleted this picture here, and I moved this text over here. I mean, I don't know why I would do that, but say that I did. There is a way to go back into the version history and restore it to an older version. If I go to File, and I'll go to Version History, and I can go back to the one that I had saved from yesterday. So that should be the correct version. So I'll select that, and then I can select Restore. And now it's restored the previous version of this Museum Pass brochure. So I don't have to worry too much if I want to make a lot of changes to one of my designs. I would also suggest making a copy of a design, just in case you can't rely on that version history. I would go to File and then Make a Copy, and then I would edit the copy of this design. So I would be less afraid to make changes knowing that I have that old copy on hand. Okay, so we're back to the New Jersey Makers Day poster. So now I'm going to show you how I like to use shapes to create sections within my designs. So these are shapes here. So I'm going to add the shapes to, kind of distinguish these three different sections. So I'll go to the Elements library, and I'm going to go down to Shapes. You can also search for shapes, but I'll just go to Shapes and then See All. And then you see these are all shapes that you can place within your designs. I'm going to go for this one here, and I'm going to place it over the text. And I kind of want it to line up with this orange box up here, so I'm going to use this, Okay. And now I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to make it white so there's nice contrast with the text. And so now this is more distinct and it's more legible because it's over a shape rather than this blue background. And I can change the curve here. So I can change the degree of the curve on the edge. So I'm going to select corner rounding and I'm going to make it less round so it's a little bit sharper. So now if I want to create the same effect for these two, I'm just going to duplicate it and then put it over this text. And I'm going to use Canva's guidelines to line it up with the other boxes. Okay, and obviously the text is hidden, so I'm going to have to position this shape to the back. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate it again and then put it down here. And then position it back. Whoops, position it back. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to make these a little bit bigger on the edge here. Okay, so that is how I would use shapes to create sections.
Okay, so I just discovered a really useful tool by speaking to a web designer who has a lot of experience with ADA compliance and accessibility, and she shared that there's actually a tool on Canva in the design editor where you can check the accessibility of your design. So it'll look for things like, is the contrast good, etc. So I'm going to show you how to access that tool on the Adult Services Committee newsletter. So you go to File and Accessibility, and then check Design Accessibility. And then it's going to show you some of the issues that it has found in your design. So I've never used this before, so I'm definitely going to start using this tool when I put together the content for the Adult Services newsletters. So it might look a little bit different when you see it next because I'm going to be using these tools to make sure that, the contrast is good, the typography is good, etc. So I see there's one issue with color contrast. So I'll click on that. And then it's telling me this section here on page 5 has low contrast text. So I should probably change that. So yeah, this is a cool tool. You just find it in File and then Accessibility and then check Design Accessibility.
But before we go to my final slide, if anybody has any last questions, concerns, comments, critiques, anything, please either raise your hand or type them in the chat.
From Minnie in the chat box.
Minnie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay. We have a question for you that says, it's about mockup. Is it under design and you selected the mockup and you selected mockup?
Give me 1 second. No, it's not under design. It's in the section that has design. On the left-hand side, you'll see design, elements, text. And when you scroll down, keep going down. And if you keep scrolling it down after image, after colorize and everything, you can see option called mockups. It's on the left-hand side, right under the design section. It's not when you select a design, but it's on the left-hand side.
Thank you for that, Minnie. Did that answer your question? Darlene, where is the list of the other questions?
So we did receive a few questions during registration, and hopefully we can get those squared away. One of the questions was knowing how to make better transition from publisher. The writer says that she uses both because publisher offers more flexibility in some actions, and sometimes in Canva, accessing an action or feature or app I found before is hard to find again. So we'll throw that out to Tatiana and our presenters if they have some thoughts about that.
So that one, if the person that asked that question would actually be able to just clarify what specifically you're having trouble using in Canva.
Okay. And then the person who had asked about making the transition from publisher, if you could just elaborate a little bit more in the chat box, we'll try to get an answer for you.
All right, so for the mockups, it's actually on this left-hand side, right here. And you scroll down. Oh, wait, hold on 1 second, that's not it. Oh, here. On the left-hand side, right here, right after design, if you keep scrolling this bar, keep it going down, that's the mockups right here. So you click on that, and gives you all these options where you can add your mockups. So there are so many different options, different images, how it will look on your computer. Have different options right here. Canva is such a important platform. I was able to create a whole, souvenir made of like 78 pages. I've been creating a souvenir for my charity organization, and it has been such a successful thing. And I just love using Canva. That's my go-to place, Canva. Anything, my kids work on it. They make their resume there, everything.
That's amazing.
It's an amazing platform. Yep.
Thank you for that demo.
You're welcome.
And Tatiana, we did have a question about copyright issues. Is there something that you could share about that?
Sure. So, with copyright stuff, by using Canva, whether it's the free or the pro version, you don't really have to worry about copyright stuff. When you're using it in your design, of course, if you have pro, you have access to basically every design, and you wouldn't have to worry about the watermark on anything. The only thing with using the Canva designs is that you can't just like take an image and put it on a page and then try to download that to basically like reuse it somewhere else. You really have to make a full design. Otherwise, Canva does block you and tell you like, hey, you can't download basically just this image. You can always find stuff on Google, but as library people, we do know that anything you find online can be subject to copyright. And since you do get access to so much from Canva, there's no reason, in my opinion at least, why you wouldn't just use what Canva has to offer, and then you don't have to worry about copyright.
Thank you. Any thoughts on that, Minnie? The copyright?
You're muted, Minnie.
Sorry. It is very important. I was saying that it is very important to look for a credible source to actually get your images, and also for getting that high quality pictures to make sure that you're using high quality pictures for your presentations.
Right. And then just, it looks like Kara's just about ready. So just to wrap up the two questions that were in the question box, does copyright warning include book covers?
So to my knowledge, book covers actually aren't included in like standard copyright law. I would have to like double check that, so don't quote me on it. But I've used book covers in my stuff with no issue, because you know, we're not trying to take the work from someone, so you know, that sort of thing. But I would have to do more research into that if you're like really concerned about possibly being flagged for copyright stuff from using a book cover. Did that answer your question, Christy?
Thanks, Tatiana.
So what I'm going to do real quickly is present us our last slide, where I would just like to thank everyone for joining us today. Thank you for sticking with us when we had the issues happening technologically. But thank you for taking the time out, coming here, and hopefully learning something about intermediate Canva. Now, again, we are going to be sending out an evaluation. If you can please fill it out, that would be much appreciated, because it's through those evaluations we find out what we can improve upon, what we shouldn't improve upon, and what we can change. We will be evaluating, we will be sending out a recording of this event in a day or two. So be on the lookout for that, please. And if you need any help, or if you have any questions, you can absolutely contact us at adult-services.committee@buckles.org. Or you can visit the Canva site to take a look at their free videos at www.canva.com/design-school. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. I bid you all a good day, a safe one, and take care of yourselves. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.